Hello, my name is Madison Carpenter, and today I'm going to be presenting my rebuttal again about the reasons why guns shouldn't be carried in schools. My partner made some very valid points about why he believes guns should be carried in schools, but I am going to be providing you with some statistics and facts that go against his initial points that he made in his debate. The first of my debate are that according to the National Conference of State Legislatures, faculty who choose to carry on school property must obtain 132 hours of comprehensive firearms safety and proficiency training, 12 hours of diversity training. They must pass a psychological exam, and they also must take and pass 2 drug tests. On my next slide, we are going to be discussing the pricing of these things and trying to determine who is going to cover these things. So on this slide, you can see, according to Indiana Firearms Training, it costs $150 per session to participate in handgun training. And according to that site, you must participate in 2 sessions, which will come out to be $300 for both sessions combined. As we discussed, they also must do a diversity workshop, and this is just for a 4-hour workshop. The slide said that they would need 12 hours, so we would need to add to this price for the final cost. But a 4-hour diversity workshop can range anywhere from $1,500 to $2,000, and an entire weekend was around $5,000. And then a full psychological evaluation can range anywhere from $1,500 to $5,000. And typically, medical insurance will only cover 50% of that total cost, so you'd be paying out of pocket the remainder of the amount. And then lastly, drug tests typically cost $10 to $30. So the grand total, and that is for the minimum for each, so $300 in firearm training, $1,500 in diversity training, $1,500 for a psych eval, and $20 for the 2 drug tests. It comes out to be $3,320. So my point in showing you this slide is to determine who is going to be responsible for paying this price. If these teachers are choosing to obtain and carry on school campuses, I'm assuming that they would pay for this out of pocket, which would deter some people from carrying, but there's no way that the school budget would be able to pay for this for every person who decides that they would like to carry on school property. And on these slides, we're going to be discussing, would arming teachers help, and the reasons why I believe that it wouldn't help. The Associated Press reported that there were more than 30 incidents between 2014 and 2018 that involved a firearm brought to school by a law enforcement officer, or that involved a teacher improperly discharging or losing control of a weapon. While this number is relatively low, that is still 30 more incidents than we should have had. And as you can see in this picture, during the 2013-2014 school year, there were 1,501 reported firearm possession incidents at U.S. schools, and the average rate of firearm possession incidents was 3 in 100,000 students. And then the map just shows you which states had the most incidents, ranging from 0 to 10 plus. And we can see that Louisiana is one of the top states. A few more reasons why arming teachers would probably not help is that trained police officers successfully hit the intended target in only 18% of incidents involving the exchange of gunfire. Police officers are highly trained in this area. They go through multiple training sessions. They went to school for this type of thing and everything else, and they still only hit their target 18% of time if there are more than one gun involved. So teachers who only went through one training session for 132 hours probably are going to hit their intended target even less, which would raise the amount of incidental shootings and injuries that they would initially be trying to avoid. And another reason is teachers could get in the way of police officers, making the situation difficult and dangerous. So while teachers are trying to help the situation by using their guns to protect their students and other faculty members, they could be getting in the way of police officers who are more highly trained and they encounter this situation more often, so they would be the better person to lessen the situation and dissolve the situation. As my partner described in his first portion of the debate, the two options for keeping firearms in the school setting would be open carry, which would mean that the teacher would possess the firearm on their body, whether it would be on their hip or around wherever that they feel most comfortable carrying the gun, and centralized monitored boxes. For the open carry, there are many incidents where the gun has been stolen off of a person's hip and then used against them. There is one example of this from a North Carolina Walmart where a guy had his gun stolen off of his hip by a stranger. And then there is another option of a centralized monitored box. This centralized monitored box, only a few faculty members would know where that box was located, and they would need to have the passcode or a fingerprint in order to retrieve the firearm from the box. This will take some time to get to the box, to put in the passcode, and to retrieve the gun. So this would take the time, and more accidents or injuries would be happening in the process if a school shooter were in the building. So I believe that both of these options could lead to more injuries and more deaths in the school settings. In conclusion, guns should not be possessed in schools by teachers or other faculty members because licensing and training is very expensive, and the school would not be able to pay for that. It could likely lead to more injuries with these open carry and centralized monitored boxes, with it taking a long time to either retrieve the gun, or the gun could possibly be stolen from the person who is carrying it. While teachers might have gotten an initial training before they were allowed to carry the guns in schools, they are not as well trained as the police officers would be. So they would often get in the way, which could cause more injuries and make it more difficult for the police to do their jobs. And police officers only hit their intended target 18% of the time. So teachers who possess guns on school property would likely hit their targets less than that, causing more injuries and accidental shootings in the school setting. Thank you all.